Good morning, class. Today we're taking a look at lesson 6.8. This is linear inequalities in two variables. In lesson 6.7, we made some linear equalities. We drew some lines. We were able to plot points using the y equals mx plus b formula style to find the y-intercept and the slope. We're going to take that one step further here to graph some inequalities. Now with inequalities, we're going to be shading a portion of the graph because as an inequality is unequal, we can pick a side that's either greater than or less than, and everything on that side of the line will be a valid response. So with that being said, when we graph it, we're going to graph it a lot like we do the y equals mx plus b format of graphing. Then we have to decide if we're going to have an open line or a closed line, if it's going to be dotted or if it's going to be solid. We used open or dotted when we have just a simple greater than or less than symbol. We use a closed or solid line when we have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Remember, if it's equal to, we need to fill in the line, sort of like we did back in 6.6 where we had to fill in the circle. We're going to shade then. If it's greater than or equal to, we'll shade above. And if it's less than or equal to, we'll shade below. Let's see a couple examples. First things first, we're graphing just like we would normally graph. Here's y is greater than negative 2/3 x plus 4. Find the y-intercept. That is going to be 4, 0, 4. So we put a 0, 4 dot, and then our slope is negative 2/3. So we're going to go down 2. Remember, it's rise over run, so we're negative 2, and then to the right 3, and then negative 2, and to the right 3. We'd like to plot at least 3 dots. And now we can see that this is just a simple greater than symbol, so we are going to keep an open line. The line will have dashes in it. And once we get done with our dashing, we can see, okay, so since y is greater than this line, we are going to shade the part above, greater than. Moving on, we're going to get a couple of problems that look like this. This is not our standard format. We have to move things around to get them into our standard format. So when we see this, 4x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 12. First thing we want to do is subtract 4x from both sides. The goal here is to get y by itself. So we subtract 4x, we get negative 2y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 12. When we write this, we want to keep it in this mx plus b kind of format. Then to get rid of the negative 2, we divide all of the pieces by negative 2. But remember, we're dividing by a negative, so we have to flip the sign. Flipping the sign, divide by negative means flip the sign. So as we do so, we divide all things by negative 2. We're going to get y is now less than or equal to 2x minus 6. So y less than or equal to 2x minus 6. We can plot this on the chart here using the mx plus b plotting style. We start with our y-intercept, which is 0, negative 6. So that's going to be down here. And then we're going to plot 2 more points. Our slope is 2 over 1, 2. You can see the 2x means 2 over 1. So we're going to 2 up, 1 over, 2 up, 1 over. We get 3 points. This is using a less than or equal to, so we'll have a solid line. And since y is less than, we're going to be shading the lower part underneath the line. Okay, another example here. Let's say we get a problem like this. 0.2x plus 0.5y is less than 0.3. To make this a simpler format for us to use, we're going to multiply all of the parts by 10. So everything gets multiplied by 10, which turns our 0.2 into a 2, our 0.5 into a 5, and our 0.3 into a 3. So we now are working with 2x plus 5y is less than 3. And this is something we've seen before we can solve. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So we have 5y is less than negative 2x plus 3. Remember, keep it in that mx plus b format. Then we're going to divide both sides by 5. After we get done dividing both sides by 5, we'll have y is less than negative 2/5 x plus 3/5. Now, it's not the most beautiful formula, but we can plot this using our mx plus b format. We find the y-intercept, which is 3/5. So 3/5 is just a little bit above the 0. And our slope, negative 2 over 5. So we're going to go 2 down, 5 to the right, 2 down, 5 to the right. So we have our 3 points. This is a simple less than, so this will be a dashed line or an open line. And since y is less than, we're below. So we're shading the below part. So you'll have examples like this in the homework. It's actually just a couple of practice problems, more or less. So please review 314, 315. Again, if you got stuck on section 6.7, please do ask. You have to know how to graph things first. Then your homework is on page 315 to 16. We're doing numbers 4 through 24 even. Be sure to graph and shade your results. I do have some paper in the back of the room if you need it, and I will see you in class.